Paul Chan in another conflict of interest controversy. 50 killed in strong earthquake in Gansu. And in England, the Duchess of Cambridge in labor now.
Good evening. Secretary for Development Paul Chan is tonight embroiled in another conflict of interest controversy. A company controlled by his wife and her relatives owns land in the Northeast New Territories new development areas. Chan failed to declare his interest in the land until September last year, more than a month after he took up the government post. But as Vicky Kung reports, Chan is claiming innocence.
To declare or not to declare. 3 plots of farmland totaling 20,000 square feet in area in Kutong within the government's latest Northeast New Territories development plan. Paul Chan is once again in the hot seat for a potential conflict of interest, but he insisted today that he had followed the rules and declared his interest to Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying last September.
The allegations against me is unfair and misleading. As I said, my wife and her side of the family bought a piece of land in 1994 used for leisure purposes by the families. My wife, in early October last year, at her initiative, sold the entire shareholding in the company to other family members and resigned as a director.
But it was revealed in a LegCom panel meeting that Chan himself had in fact signed the provisional sale and purchase agreement for the 1994 transaction.
Paul Chan owed the public a very heavy duty to clarify whether he has any interest in any land in the Northeast development. From the history of 94 to the present time, Mr. Chan must clarify how come he has sold his interest, if any, and how come his wife owned the 37.5% of the company which owns a piece of land in Northeast.
Definitely, he has had some strong role in the whole process. He has to produce all the documentations regarding the acquisition of the lands, the transactions in between, and why he did not make the declaration of interest when he assumed office in July.
But Regina Yip, who also sits on the Executive Council, said it's not uncommon for ExCo members from the business sector to need more time to declare all the assets they have.
In the past, such members, I understand, have taken a while to report their interests, not necessarily within a couple of months.
It's not the first time Paul Chan has been caught in a conflict of interest in office. Last year, it was exposed that his wife owned subdivided flats when he first started his job as development chief. People Power's Albert Chan raised a motion in today's LegCo development panel meeting to demand that Paul Chan step down, but panel chairman Lau Wong-Fat rejected it, saying the group only deals with government policies and not ethical matters.
It was quite clear that my motion was related to the Development Bureau's policy, mainly in terms of planning and land resumption and the land usage decision. All of this are directly related to the Development Bureau.
This is another fatal blow to his credibility and integrity, and I think it's time for him to go.
The 3 plots of farmland in question are close to the future Kutong railway station. The government plans to turn the land into home ownership scheme flats. Vicky Kung, TVB News.
At least 56 people have died and over 400 are injured after a 6.6 magnitude earthquake struck Gansu province on the mainland. Hundreds of soldiers have been deployed to the region to help with rescue efforts. Joel Da Silva reports.
The powerful quake hit at around 7:45 a.m. today near Dingxi in the northwestern province of Gansu. As far as 400 kilometers to the east, residents reported hearing a strong roaring sound followed by violent shaking that sent lights and other objects swinging. Surveillance camera footage showed residents running from buildings to open areas. At a 20 kilometers depth, the epicenter was shallow, which makes the tremor more destructive. In an interview over the phone, a Minxian resident said the shaking lasted for over a minute. It was so violent that he and others felt dizzy and sick. He added that most houses in neighboring rural regions were destroyed as a result. State officials say the deaths and injuries were reported mainly in Min County and other rural areas in the south of the municipality. Damage is said to be worst in the counties of Jiang and Min, where thousands of homes were damaged and telephone and electricity services knocked out. Soldiers deployed to the area have been trying to reach the epicenter, but they admitted that progress was slow due to mud and rock slides blocking roads. The Chinese Red Cross said it was shipping tents, household items and jackets to the area. Relief teams are being sent from both Lanzhou and Beijing to assess further needs and offer help to those affected by the quake. Heavy rain is expected in the area later in the week, raising the need for shelter and increasing the chance of further landslides. João da Silva, TVB News.
Drug manufacturer GlaxoSmithKline has admitted its executives may have broken Chinese law. The company is under investigation for allegedly bribing Chinese government officials, medical industry associations, hospitals, and doctors in order to expand its market on the mainland. After the British company's president met with police in Beijing, GSK admitted certain executives acted outside company regulations which breached Chinese laws. 4 GSK employees, including a vice president, have now been detained. Chinese authorities allege the employees funneled as much as $490 million through travel agencies and consulting firms to hide their bribes. The scheme helped them to circumvent GSK rules that limit gift giving to $50 per recipient. There is also word an anti-fraud investigator who worked for GSK has been detained by police in Shanghai. He's identified as Stephen Humphrey, a British national who operates a firm here in Hong Kong. GSK maintains it is cooperating with authorities.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has hailed his party's victory in yesterday's elections for the country's upper house of parliament. Exit polls show the Liberal Democratic Party and its junior partner won more than half of the seats contested. Abe says the win will bring political stability, which will help him carry out much-needed reforms to revive the economy. Tony Saban reports.
Fresh from helping his ruling Liberal Democratic Party and its coalition partner win a decisive victory in yesterday's upper house elections, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe laid out his vision for the country. In theory, he's got a clear mandate to get things done his way after the LDP and its ally New Komeito secure control of both houses of parliament for the first time in 6 years. But the coalition is still short of a two-thirds majority in the upper house. Abe stressed today his government must not become complacent. We must further speed up the pace of our policies, he said. If we return to the old LDP that would ignore public opinion or would look to run away from reforms, then we will lose the public support. Part of the Prime Minister's plan to maintain public confidence is to ramp up the so-called policy of Abenomics, which means lots of government spending and aggressive monetary easing. Abe's agenda also includes revising the post-war pacifist constitution, strengthening Japan's military, and recasting the country's wartime history with a less apologetic tone. And revising the constitution will require two-thirds approval by both houses of parliament and a national referendum. To achieve that, he needs popular support, which means getting the economy right.
So before he can amend the constitution, which is his long-term goal, he needs to pull over other seats other parliamentarians in the opposition, and for that he needs the strong mandate on economic growth. He needs to have the young people on his side as well, and that won't work without additional reforms.
Some of those additional reforms could include bringing down trade barriers, deregulating parts of the economy and cutting taxes for corporations while raising duties for goods and services in the country. Tony Sabine, TVB News.
Millions in Britain and around the world are eagerly awaiting the birth of Prince William and Kate Middleton's new child, who is expected any time now. Buckingham Palace reported the Duchess of Cambridge went into labor this morning. Scores of reporters from around the world have been camped outside the hospital for days. The Duchess is due to give birth at St. Mary's Hospital in London, where many British royals, including William himself, were born. No word yet on whether it's a boy or a girl or what names are being considered. The Duke and Duchess's baby will be the third in line to the British throne.
Australians reacted angrily to the news that 2 U.S. fighter jets dropped 4 unarmed bombs on the Great Barrier Reef last week. The 2 Harrier jets each launched 2 unarmed bombs in the World Heritage-listed marine park last Tuesday. The jets had intended to drop the bombs on a bombing range, but had to abort that mission when civilian boats were spotted below and the crew could not risk landing with bombs on board. Even though the bombs were reportedly dropped away from coral to minimize damage to the reef, one Australian senator expressed outrage.
We're letting the US military drop bombs on the World Heritage Great Barrier Reef. I mean, have we gone completely mad? Is this how we look after our World Heritage areas now? Letting a foreign power drop bombs on it?
And still ahead in our newscast, housing strategy proposals expected soon. Difficulties faced by Muslim students at Tuen Mun School. And Belgians welcome their new king.
Welcome back. The government committee designed to come up with ways to provide more affordable and quality housing for people is expected to release a series of suggestions in September. It wants to give priority for public housing to single adults in their 30s who have a low level of education. Rani Samtani reports.
One of the key recommendations the consultation paper will make is how to help single adults who don't qualify for elderly assistance. Up until last year, more than 100,000 of these singles were on the waiting list for public rental housing. Among the applicants who were aged 35 and above, 93% had an education level of secondary school or lower. Because their social mobility is low, Long-Term Housing Strategy Steering Committee has agreed that they should be given priority. Currently, a maximum of 2,000 public housing units are allocated to middle-aged adults who are single. For this group of people, the committee proposes to increase the annual quota of spaces and to build housing dedicated to this group within current public housing estates. But it may mean taking over space that's designated for public housing leisure facilities. On the waiting list, 34% of applications are students, out of which nearly half are at a tertiary level of education. The committee will suggest that authorities monitor the waiting list regularly and to remove applicants who do not qualify on income and asset levels. The committee is also proposing to shorten the time to review income and asset levels. Currently, residents are only checked 10 years after they move in. But housing policy watchdog Landwatch says the committee has its hands tied when it comes to housing supply. Chairman Lee Wing-Tat says he's against taking up space for recreational facilities to build homes because it would make the living area too dense to live in. Rani Samtani, TVB News.
Many of those on welfare will be getting double pay this month. The Social Welfare Department will be giving a one-off additional payment to recipients of comprehensive Social Security assistance, the old age allowance or fruit money, old age living allowance and disability allowance this Friday. The money will be transferred automatically into the eligible recipients' accounts. The department said it's part of the government's efforts to help ease the economic pressure faced by the disadvantaged and to stimulate economic growth.
The Ombudsman revealed today it dealt with more than 2,000 complaints against the government and public bodies in the past year. Alan Lai said some 300 departments have made apologies, but many of them only did so after the Ombudsman intervened.
Sometimes maybe, some departments staff may feel that it will be a loss of faith for them to make apologies. And then in some other cases, departments may feel a bit uneasy because making apology may be regarded as admitting mistakes. So we think that we should consider instituting legislation as in some other common law legislation to see whether we could include a provision in legislation to the effect that such admission of or such tendering of apologies should not be used in court.
One non-religious school in Tuen Mun has added some special classes to attract Muslim students. But as Diane To reports, there may be a lack of cultural understanding from the school, which may be doing more harm than good for its students.
Covered from head to toe, this school uniform lets you see only the eyes. This niqab, usually worn by conservative Muslim women, was designed for Muslim students of this local secondary school. In danger of closing with a dwindling intake of pupils, the school especially opened up all-girl Muslim classes to attract those with religious restrictions. They start later than regular students, have different recess hours and finish school earlier. And they're not allowed to mingle with their local schoolmates. Some of the students are saying it's a little beyond accommodating.
They told us, because we are Muslim, we want to protect you guys, so I would want you to study in separate classes. We don't want to wear. They talk to our parents, persuade them who would like to wear hijab if someone never wears in our whole life.
The school insisted the restrictions are to respect the parents' demands, but parents we spoke to said the school never asked them. This Pakistani parent said in fact few Muslim families here require the faces to be covered. He said when he chose this school, he had hoped his daughter could become part of local society, but was shocked to get a phone call complaining that she had talked to the boys. Fermi Wong of the Hong Kong Unison, an NGO that helps fight for ethnic minority rights, said she's worried it'll seriously affect their integration into mainstream society. Wong said the parents either don't know how to reflect their opposition to the schools or are worried it'll affect their daughter's relationship with the school. She doesn't think the school is genuinely respecting these parents. She suggested the Education Bureau or Equal Opportunities Commission issue guidelines on how schools can accommodate different cultures, but still be in line with core values such as racial and gender equality and the promotion of integration. Diane To, TVB News.
All right, Chris, want to wish you a warm welcome back. And I know you weren't on vacation. You were busy doing stories for the Shaw Prize, so welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
What do you have for us today?
Well, Phil Lefty is one happy golfer. A month after his agonizing loss at the U.S. Open, Phil Mickelson rallied in the final round to lift the claret jug at Muirfield in Scotland. Jameson Wong has more.
5 shots behind at the start of the final round, Phil Mickelson stayed within striking distance of the lead and was 1 under for his round after 10 holes. Then came a stretch of golf that won the claret jug for the 43-year-old American. Lefty birdied 4 of the last 6 holes for a 5 under 66, tying the best round of the week. He was the only golfer to finish under par for the tournament at -3. Sweden's Henrik Stenson wound up in second at even par, while Lee Westwood, the leader going into the final round, was at +1 with Ian Poulter and Adam Scott. Tiger Woods ended up a stroke further back. But Sunday's story was the popular Californian, now a 5-time major champion, who earlier in the week criticized the course setup and admitted to a love-hate relationship with links golf.
To do it, to play some of the best golf, probably the best round of my career, and break through and capture this claret jug is some of the most fulfilling, probably the most fulfilling moment of my career, because it was something I wasn't sure I'd be able to ever do.
With the victory, Mickelson needs only to win his national championship for the career Grand Slam. Jameson Wong, TVB News.
England defeated Australia by 347 runs to win the second Ashes Test at Lord's and take a 2-0 series lead. Yesterday, Graham Swann claimed 4 wickets as the hosts bowled Australia out for 235 with 4 balls remaining. Joe Root, who scored 180 in the second innings, was named man of the match. He also took the wickets of Michael Clarke and Usman Khawaja on day 4. The third test starts August 1st at Old Trafford. And Britain was basking in sporting glory after Chris Froome won the 100th edition of the Tour de France. The 28-year-old dominated the race. He took 10 stages and claimed the title by more than 4 minutes. Froome followed up teammate and compatriot Bradley Wiggins' win last year. Colombia's Nairo Quintana was second, with Spain's Joaquim Rodriguez completing the podium. Froome dedicated the yellow jersey to his mother, who died of cancer in 2008.
And Belgium swore in a new king on Sunday after King Albert II abdicated to his son. While a day of parades and celebration marked that occasion, many residents remain worried King Philippe may not have what it takes to mend their deeply divided country. Against the backdrop of the royal palace in Brussels, King Philippe became Belgium's 7th monarch during the country's National Day holiday. While Albert signed the legislative act stating his intent to pass the throne to his son, he thanked his wife and assured the masses Philippe does have what it takes to serve the country well.
Ik zweer dat ik de grondwet.
53-year-old Philippe took the oath of office in Belgium's 3 official languages, Dutch, French, and German. Outside, a military salute to their new king. Philippe is now the 7th king of Belgium. One of the biggest challenges to his reign will be how to bring together a nation drifting apart between the 6 million Dutch-speaking Flemings and the 4.5 million French-speaking Francophones. Philippe's wife, Queen Mathilde, is the most popular member of the royal family for having ties to all 3 of the country's main regions. She was born in Brussels, has Flemish ancestors, and was raised in Wallonia. As part of the pomp and pageantry, the royal couple did a walkabout to the thrill of the massive crowds, hoping to catch a glimpse of the new monarchy. By nightfall, the new king kissed his queen on the royal balcony. Then, an elaborate installation light show was projected on the face of the royal palace, offering a mixture of eye-pleasing scenes and classical music. To wrap up the royal occasion in the style befitting of a new king and queen, a series of spectacular fireworks lit up the night sky, much to the awe of royal watchers below. And thanks for watching.
Good night.
Evening was mainly cloudy with some showers and thunderstorms and sunny intervals today. At 5 p.m., a ridge of high pressure was covering southeastern China. Today's temperatures ranged from 26.5 to 30.4 degrees, and the relative humidity was between 79 to 98%. Winds were moderate east to southeasterlies. The current temperature is now standing at 27 degrees Celsius, and the relative humidity is 96%. 3 millimeters of rain has been recorded since midnight. So, Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow? We'll have sunny periods and a few showers tomorrow. Temperatures will range from 27 to 32 degrees. Expect more sunny intervals and showers in the following few days. Tomorrow's API is forecast at 15 to 70, and the air pollution level will range from medium to high. The maximum UV index forecast for tomorrow will be about 12. And now to the latest global weather update. Sunny in Shanghai, cloudy in Taipei and Xiamen. Thunderstorms in Guangzhou, showers in Macau, cloudy in Chengdu. Cloudy in Beijing and Tokyo, rain in Seoul. Thunderstorms in Bangkok, rain in Ho Chi Minh City and Manila. Showers in Kuala Lumpur, bright in Singapore, rain in Jakarta. Thunderstorms in New Delhi, showers in Karachi, rain in Mumbai. Sunny in Cairo, bright in Nairobi. Rain in Brisbane, bright in Sydney, showers in Melbourne, fog in Auckland. Showers in Toronto and New York. Sunny in Vancouver, cloudy in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Showers in London, thunderstorms in Paris, sunny in Amsterdam and Zurich, cloudy in Zurich. That's weather. Have a lovely evening.